22.4.3 patch notes. Includes balance changes to Battlegrounds. Hell yeah. Oh, Cam. Not just bed cam. Don't care, that's standard. Don't care, don't care. Battlegrounds updates. There is now a buddy meter bonus granted when you defeat Kel'Thuzad. Hippo clap, so you don't get grief by getting a ghost early. Hooray. This is what we love. These kind of things are good quality of life adjustments. Blizzard saw a problem where you would get artificially griefed by getting a ghost in the early game. Better take damage and get buddy experience than not take damage and fight a ghost. And therefore, helps to balance out the game by giving a bonus whenever you beat the ghost. We'll see how well that's balanced. We'll see. But it was already a big problem that you lose early rounds. You have a low tempo hero, you start getting the ghost and you fall behind on the buddy and you just snowball and die. In those kind of situations, avoiding those would be very healthy for the game. Alright, hero update. Tamsin Roame. Hero power old, cost 1, new cost 0. Destroy your lowest health minion, give its stats to 4 friendly minions. Wow. That's really good, right? Like, tier 1 Tamsin? Am I overreacting? Maybe. But you basically win every early round after turn 3. You shinies curve, you pick up things, you push the button, even if you have just a token on the board, that's a 4/4 buff to your board. So you get your buddy super, super quickly. Now the buddy is not super good, but think about other tempo heroes that are like this. Heroes like, say for example, Saurfang. Say for example, Kel'Thuzad. Who are reasonably good heroes, or Cariel right now does something very, very similar. At the middle of the game, you just milk stats off your hero power, and you just coast in the top 4s. AFK is a very similar one. AFK is a little better because it has long-term value. I don't know, tier 1's probably a little bit of an oversell, but way more viable. Will the difference between 1 and 0 gold make it useful? Hell yeah. You never push it before, and now you always push it. So you're saying not having a hero power versus now having a hero power, are those different? Yes, those are massively different. Turns out you cannot have hero powers in Battlegrounds that cost gold and do not give you permanent value. There's literally not a single buddy or hero power in the game that exists that does not give you lasting value after the next combat that costs more than 0. That is playable. That is a usable hero power. The fact that like this cost 1 gold made this never ever push this shit. Just don't push this shit at all. Doesn't say start a combat now. Yeah, there's no way that this is permanent stats, right? It's just like, there's no way this is permanent stats. Wait, is it permanent stats? No. No, 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 no. I think it's a typo. I think it's a typo too. There's no way. There is no way that what they want to do out of this is just make it so that you're a better version of Mutinous. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it would quite literally be Mutinous on steroids. And Mutinous is a tier 1 hero. There is no world. You lose the minion forever? Okay. Mutinous, you get 1 gold, I guess. There's a little bit of value there. But Mutinous, it's basically just bullshit if this is permanent stats. Alright, well, okay. Okay, game. Yeah, you can target Mutinous and you get a gold out of it. It's not exactly the same thing. But you're really saying, like, 0 gold cost competitive spirit at the very least every turn in the early game for 0. Into the middle of the game just by playing real boards and then taking like a 5/7 buff to the board every turn to 4 minions. If it's not start a combat. If it is start a combat, this is still a very playable hero power. Like, this is very doable. Remember, your buddy doesn't carry you on this hero, so your hero power better be damn good. I'm hoping it's a typo. But yeah, this is going to be Mutinous on steroids. This with elementals, I know. Like, there's so many funny ideas there. Now, to be fair, with elementals, then you can't use it if you still have the Nomi on the board or whatever. But it's fine. It's fine. Like, you gotta sell the Nomi. But you will. You just sell the Nomi, right? Wagtoggle. We're moving forward. Elder Taggawag. Old Tavern 4, 4/3. Whenever you play a minion type, trigger your hero power. New Tavern 3, 5/4. Whenever you play a minion of a type you don't control, trigger your hero power 2 left this turn. Alright, so this stops the Infinite Scabs combo, which is our YouTube video for the day. This also makes it so that if you stay on Tavern 1, you're basically only going to get potentially 2 procs per turn. I'm assuming 2 left means 2 procs total. Yeah, that's the way it works, right? With all the something left per turn. Nice timing on the Scabs combo. We did it, and then Blizzard nerfed it immediately. My bad, chat. No. Like, it's been around for a while. We just haven't had the opportunity to do it this season. Not a lot of Scabs games. And we had to fight a Wagtoggle who didn't have Taggawag on the board. Oh, it was awful. We couldn't get the golden. Okay, yeah, Wagtoggle dead. Thank God. We don't need this in the game. Alright, I said this in the game and I wasn't prepared to bring it up. We don't need this in the game. 2.96 average Wagtoggle at top MMR. Yeah, nerf this shit. Good, they nerfed it. Interesting to think about what you do with Wagtoggle now. Mostly, I believe what you do is not pick her, but maybe there's like a level line that's okay. Like, there's a few people that have been playing Wagtoggle at high MMR by leveling it to 4. I don't think it was great by any means, but it would definitely be the better way to play it now. Yeah, the tier 1 strat's dead. Tier 1 strat's dead because the value of the tier 1 strat is that you can get higher number of elementals per turn. And a higher number of elementals doesn't matter if you get more than 2 per turn. Interesting. Good. Nerf the autoplay bullshit. Alright. Lich Baz'hial's buddy. Oh boy, are we nerfing the Lich? Yay, 2 left this turn. We're also nerfing the bullshit. Cool. You, Tavern 3. It's actually not that big of a deal. Tavern 4 down to Tavern 3. 4/4 goes to a 3/3, but it gets 3/3 per hit instead of 2/2. And 2 left this turn. So basically, you're going to get it quicker. It's going to scale slightly faster, but you don't need to play like all Wrathweavers. Like, this is going to be a reasonably good unit because now, Lich may be stronger now. I agree. At high MMR, it might be stronger now. It's just not autoplay. I mean, that's actually really good. I love this. This is a really good change because it takes away the autoplay line. We don't stay on 1 and buy all the Wrathweavers. All we really do is either A, have a Wrathweaver. If you don't have a Wrathweaver, fine, but if you have a golden Wrathweaver, great. Then you hero power to get a 3/3 each turn. And if you have a golden Wrathweaver, you can play a demon or whatever, take an additional 3/3. That's fine. The buddy, you get it a turn earlier, potentially 2 turns earlier, depending on the way that you play the game now as Lich Baz'hial, because you were really slow at getting the buddy when you went the Wrathweaver line, because you weren't that strong for the first 3 turns, and then you turn the corner and you maxed out your buddy meter every turn. Now, if you play the line to not buy Wrathweaver every single time, or you're buying good minions early, you can potentially get this thing on turn 5 pretty consistently. Not really a Wagtoggle nerf, still playable? Yeah, it's not very good. Oh, you not like the Wagtoggle nerf. This is good. This is a really good change. This didn't make it so you can't play Lich Baz'hial. It just changed it so that it doesn't incentivize having more than 1 Wrathweaver. So if that's the case, then you have to play the game for leveling up and playing for other win conditions. A Wrathweaver is still a really good card on Lich, but at the very least you have this buddy on the board. It gets 3/3 scaling a turn, so basically like a gold grubber, and it makes it so you can hero power each turn without taking damage. Like, these are good things. And the fact that you brought it back down to Tavern 3 makes this much more achievable. You don't have to like hard force tempo and stay on 1. I like it. And Lich Baz'hial is such an interesting hero anyway. So like, can we make another interesting version of another interesting hero that isn't broken? Hopefully we bring down some of the other outliers, but if that's the case, then playing Lich again will be cool. Very cool. Let's go from 2 to 4. this turn on Golden, it'll double the effects on Golden, is a fair guess. So it used to be 4/4, it'll be 6/6. You're saying this 2/4? No, this probably won't change. This will probably stay the same. All right, Vol'jin getting nerfed, I'm hoping at least. Old Vol'jin, 8 attack, 5 health. New attack is 6 attack, 5 health, and that's the end of the change. No. The end of your turn, the minion to the left of this copies a minion's attack. Okay, so the rate at which you can increase the attack on your board decreases. You also almost completely gut the concept of playing Gadrin to triple things to double the effect again, because it's going to take way too many turns of you buffing the left minion, then buffing the left minion again, and then tripling that left minion, and then swapping back to Gadrin, and then buffing something one at a time. Like, there aren't that many turns in the game. It's definitely a nerf, a pretty substantial nerf. Is it enough to make Vol'jin not oppressive? Probably. It's basically slowing down the rate at which the big stat line can be applied to your board. And the difference between getting really strong on turn 8 versus turn 10 is a massive difference for health, right? Okay, cool. It's a good nerf. Good change. We have to see this one in action to kind of gauge how quick the meta is and whether or not this, like, it doesn't gut the strategy, but what it does do is make it so it's slower to get online. Good changes on the buddy aspect, but not changes we need right now when they make it address the real problems right now. Reborn, my X, and Stefan, and Poison. Yeah, hard disagree, dude. No, these are good changes. Poison is fine for the game. Poison, Amalgadon, Reborn, my X, that stuff's good for the game. Stefan's good for the game. Overall, the whole concept of stats being the way to win the game is super boring and one-dimensional. Poison is good for the game. Do we need to bring down stats? Absolutely. Then you could reduce the prevalence of poison. Sure. But hard disagree on that take. Yo, Zajif. Thank you for the 2 months, dude. Appreciate the support. Thanks for the resub. But yeah, I just disagree with those takes. But then again, like, anybody that's here regularly knows I disagree with that take. Like, it's a very common thing that comes from, like, Reddit and whatnot. And I don't think it's a very good way of balancing the game. And when we end up in those scenarios, there are multiple ways to address these problems. Right now, poison is a necessary portion of the game. Alright, Bru'kan's buddy went to tier 3. That is a huge change for Bru'kan, because you don't get, like, 2-star buddies are so fucking strong. They are so strong because you get a turn 8 triple into a 6-star every single game. Or turn 9, I guess, on the bad games. Not only that, but you get your buddy on an aggressive timing and it allows you to level to 4 without taking too much damage. Going from 2 to 3, we've said this a bunch of times, right? If you have a 2-star buddy, your hero is at the very least playable. Because even if the buddy doesn't do that much, you get another body on the board very quickly. You can power level because of it, and then you get the tripled version of it on turn 8, and you can only shoot for a 6-star. 2-star buddies are very, very strong. Combine that with the fact that, like, Bru'kan is a good hero, is inherently built to counter a bunch of people, then yeah, it was just oppressive, right? Like, we have how many Bru'kan games this patch? Like 25 with like a 2.8 average. Like, Bru'kan's super, super strong, and it needed nerfed. And this is a good nerf. Good change. Simple change, but a good change. No poison, so I can golden whelp smuggler into Golden Kali every game? Yeah, I mean, stat scaling's out of control. We need poison in the game. This isn't an overhaul patch. You don't expect this to be like, oh my god, there's a huge bunch of changes. This is a middle of the season change. These are all very appropriate changes so far. He was a pure George selfless counter? I mean, he still is. Just doesn't need to be good at everything. Being good at some things in the game and not being good at others is balance. That's a good thing. Barov's Apprentice. Oh my god, they nerfed Barov. How did this slip through the cracks? The strongest hero, most high MMR players prior to the first change, the strongest hero was Barov. And they nerfed like 12 heroes and Barov sat there and went, Mwah. And then we got a little bit slower meta and Gallywix got better and a few others at the time, but Gallywix was still a 10 hero too. It's another good example of one that slipped through the cracks and didn't get nerfed. But Barov was like number 1 before and then became like number 2 after because the game stabilized and Gallywix became a little bit better than Barov. Barov going from 2 to 3, Tavern 2 to 3 means you can't power level to 4 on turn 5, which means you can't go to 5 immediately. This is a massive change. Is Barov still playable? Absolutely. But the timing that you need to be able to take the level on Jeef curve, get your buddy on turn 4, level on Reform curve, I should say. Get your buddy on turn 4. No. Get your buddy on turn 4, combat. So you get it on turn 5, then you use the 4 coins to level straight to 4, so that starts the timer to discount Tavern 5 down from 11 to 10 on the next turn. Then you can jump that barrier and go straight up. That's gone. You can't get the buddy on that turn anymore, which means now you're going to play the game for Chinese curve most of the time. You're going to level to 4 very quickly. Then you have to wait a turn there and then go. So basically a turn later on all of the leveling. And the big advantage Barov had was that you could drop yourself to 15 health and go to 6 and then just replace your whole board. Can't see the patch notes on the site? They're not under the patch notes section. For some reason, they're tagged wrong. Go to the all section of the website. Under like news and whatnot. Don't know why it wasn't under patch notes, but it's not. But yeah, the leveling curve for Barov has to change now. I still think Barov will be fine. You just can't go straight to 6 anymore. Good. It was oppressive and not healthy for the game. Although Lord Barov's average power level was reasonable, some games had extreme results with enough wagers were won. This change aims to slow down the power spike in those cases. I mean, they're not wrong. Like, the average for Barov has never been oppressive. Like, if you look at, even at highest of MMRs, Barov is still not a top 10 hero. Barov has a lot of firsts. But in the right hands, Barov is super, super strong. Super, super, like, ridiculously strong. And it does come down to pretty much this. If you have enough consistency with getting wagers won and know the leveling curve for it, it's super good. Yeah, it's a massive nerf, but a hero that was one of the best heroes is still going to be very good. We can definitely play Barov still. Tamson Roame's buddy has been changed from Tavern 3 to Tavern 4, gain 2 health. The health isn't really an impactful change, but this is because Tamsin's new hero power is busted, right? So now you have the monstrosity as a little bit weaker version of itself. Okay, I wish the patch notes for both of these would have been in the same place. That way we could have gauged the Tamsin change at the same time, right? I didn't know that this was a change as well. What's the new hero power? Just to remind people, I'm not going to go through it again. Patch notes are out there. In fact, here you guys go. You want the link. Tamsin is now 0 cost, destroy your lowest health minion, and give its stats to 4 friendly minions. I lost my place on the page. So, yeah, we don't know if this is start of combat or not. It doesn't say start of combat. Those would be permanent stats. I fail to believe that's the balance, that we have turbo mutinous here, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see when it goes live. Who knows? Crazier shit has happened. Alright, Elise. Interesting. That's a big change. Tavern 2 to Tavern 3, so you get it a turn later. At the start of your turn, get a recruitment map. The map cost is 1, not maps reduce cost by 1. Is this good? It's definitely good, right? Like, in a vacuum, everybody and every hero power combined are good. But is it good by comparison to the field? So it's way, way better later in the game, but you have to have this thing on your board later in the game. Free minions? I mean, they're not free minions. They're 1-cost minions that you sell for 1. Like, you don't get the reduced cost every turn. You can sell the buddy immediately. Yeah, true. Like, this is the reduced cost of maps by 1 was portion of the old hero power. This is just going to make it so every map that you use are 1. They cost 1. So you get an immediate power spike, agreed. You get an immediate power spike. It potentially allows you to level to 5 and take a 5-star and a 4-star or something like that in the same turn. But none of your old maps are discounting anymore. Interesting. It is a power spike. You don't have to keep it on the board, but you don't generate more maps, right? If you sell it off the board. Yeah, I'm not sure what people are debating in chat. Your maps aren't going to change cost. There is no mechanic of Elise that reduces the cost of maps each turn except for this buddy. And that text is now gone. So all old maps will cost 1. Yes, that's exactly what we think. You're going to play the buddy. All your maps will cost 1. You add a new map at the beginning of beginning of your buy phase. You'll add a map to your hand. But there's no zero cost maps. It'll be impossible to have zero cost maps. Every map is going to cost 3 or 1, depending on whether or not this thing is on your board. And if that is the case, you're basically saying that you're going to want to keep a 4/4 on the board from turn 7 on to get an extra map each turn and make your maps cost 1. I don't buy that as being even remotely viable. So the next question becomes, is it just good because you can play this to the board and use like 3 maps in a turn? And if that's the case, yeah, that's pretty good. But is it good enough to pick up a hero that has very little value otherwise? I think Elise is still complete garbage. Just kind of complete garbage. That you can maybe take like a 5-star and a 4-star on the turn where you're level to 5 when you get this thing. And that's your upside. Like, it's a worse version of Toki as a hero power. And Toki is already like a meh hero. This is going to be probably still bad, but we'll see. We'll figure it out when we play it. I think it's bad. I don't have the patch command updated yet. I did post it in chat like 30 seconds ago. And Tess gets buffed to a tier 2 minion. Okay. Tier 2 minions, guys. Remember this. We have said it 100 times. If your buddy is a tier 2 buddy, you have a viable hero. Because you get the tempo early in the game and you have the potential to triple on turn 8. Yeah, giving free minions to Tess is strong. Giving free minions and those minions being buddies? But the fact that it is tier 2 makes this thing super, super strong. And a 5/3 on turn 2 or on turn 4 fills out your board. You're just going to Chinese curve. You're going to buy up pairs. You're going to do what Tess did in the olden days. I think Tess is going to be a viable hero again. Basically, what you're going to do is just force out the buddy by Chinese curve. You're going to have 6 minions on the board. This is going to be the 7th minion on the turn where you double level to 3. You're going to freeze a board if it has triples, or you're just going to play off of other people's boards for triples. And you're going to try to power spike and stabilize the middle of the game off of the hero power. And then you're going to keep this guy around through the middle turns of the game until it gets golden. You take the triple into a 6-star or into a 5-star if you really need to play defensively. And then once again, you are Tess. Tess always has had that win condition of if you're one of the last 3 people alive as Tess, you usually win the game, right? Tess is one of those heroes that is very good if you can get the later stage of the game, and you just gave her tempo and the ability to triple in the middle of the game. It's really, really strong. When's the patch going online? Tomorrow. Bug improvements? I'm looking for frame rate or glitches or bugs.